So I swear these people are going to push every single independent and centrist further to the right because of what's happening. So Kavanaugh got confirmed, and like it was a close vote. I get like just one, or they could only afford one or two different defects to other sides to get it through. But Kavanaugh is confirmed now, and the thing is, I think I want to give out my view on this whole thing because I have seen so many people talk about this, and what they're saying is exactly the same as what I'm thinking about this. And so far, what you see stuff like this. Like I brought this up. This is who Senator Collins is, posted by the Women's March, which claims to fight for women. They're accusing a woman of being a rape apologist, which it's all just stupid identity politics. It's like, oh, we support women, we support women, we support women. And then they're accusing her of being a rape apologist, and it's like, we don't have any evidence. This is the stuff that gets like centrists outraged at the left and pushes them to the right, because just slander and attacks like this, it's like, this is all emotion, this is not argument at all. And it's just sickening. Like it's I hate to do the moral outrage thing, but that's really what it is, because I'm trying to explain what is going on here. And I think what's happening right now is a significant number of centrists share my view, because from what I've heard, everyone shares my view, which is that Kavanaugh overall is not that good of a judge. Like, they want better judges. They want someone like Amy Barrett, or preferably someone that's not so bad on the Fourth Amendment, or like stuff like that. Like someone that is a really good judge, and Kavanaugh was not what their preferred choice was. He was an alright judge, like he could have been a lot worse, but overall it's like, on the issues, he's really not that great. But what happened was, over the past few, like, and don't get me wrong, like, honestly, in my opinion, if he was not confirmed, Trump would probably nominate, like, Amy Barrett or someone better. So I think him not getting nominated is probably better for the Supreme Court, because his second pick would be someone better. But then you have all this stuff going on. Like, the allegations were what really did it. Like, overall, it was like, my opinion was, I don't want him to get confirmed. I hope he picks someone better. And then the allegations happen, and then it just escalates and escalates and escalates even further and further, until we have this stuff where it's like, if you decide to vote for him, it's no longer that you disagree on issues of politics. It's no longer that you have a different opinion. It's no longer that you think Kavanaugh is a good judge or a bad judge. It's now you're a rape apologist, which is like, okay, for the record, if you're someone that believes that this is somehow a women's issue, it's like, you have to step back and look outside your bubble. I hate to say it, because it's like, this is not a women's issue. Because the allegations came out, but you know what you have to do? You can't believe women. You cannot believe Ford blindly. You cannot believe Kavanaugh blindly. You have to take out the whole politics part and just say, okay, where is the evidence? And we had no good evidence. None. In fact, we had, if anything, like, the evidence that she put forth was as good as the evidence that went against her, which is just people saying things, just testimony based on memory from forever ago. It's like, that's the issue what's going on here. It's like, too many people jumped to conclusions and said, oh, he's a rapist. And even people went so far as to say he's a gang rapist, which there's like no credibility to that one. Like, there's nothing to that. And it's like, this has not become a woman's issue. And now I've seen so many people, and myself kind of included, that's like, okay, now I kind of want to see him get confirmed. Now, like, if I see him get, like, once he got confirmed, I had the gut feeling of, like, yes. It's like, I know he's bad on issues. I know, like, there are so many better judges than him. But it was the gut feeling of, like, yes, good, because this stuff cannot keep going on. And that's what, it bugs me so much, because it's like, I would have opposed him. I would have actually, like, said, no, he could have been a better judge. This whole time, I could have been talking about, like, yeah, Fourth Amendment issues, bad. Like, here's some better judges. Like, here's some people that are so much better than this. Here's certain, like, Judge Napolitano's view on Kavanaugh was not that good, and I really like Judge Napolitano. And then, like, instead we're all talking about the allegations. Instead we're all talking about this stuff, this nonsense stuff of allegations and whether they're true or not. And again, they don't seem to be. There's no actual evidence to them because they happened decades ago. And it's like, I'm sorry, women. Like, I'm told, I've never experienced it, but I'm told that there's some kind of just emotional shame and just fear that happens, and you don't want to come out and tell people about it. You don't want to go to the police. And it's like, that sucks. That's absolutely devastating, because I literally cannot fathom how awful that is. But, like, you have to do something. Like, it's either you have to come forward while there's some kind of physical evidence still available, or maybe there's witnesses where it's fresh in their mind, it just happened. You have to come forward with some kind of evidence, because we cannot start saying guilty until proven innocent. We cannot. And I know this was not a court of law. This was just an interview. And oddly enough, like, some people think that makes it better. Like, oh, it's an interview, which means we don't have to go by innocent until proven guilty, which apparently means that if they're in the middle of the interview, I can walk in, accuse them of being a gang rapist, and they're not allowed to get upset. And they can be like, well, I guess you can't assume I'm innocent because this is just a job interview. It's like, no, that's not how this works. We're not just talking about the legal sense. We're talking about the principled sense. Having a fair, hearing people out and assuming innocence is not just a legal aspect. It's a legal aspect based on a principle that we follow. It's like the free speech thing. It's like there's a legal aspect of free speech, which is the First Amendment, and then there's the principle to it, which is like, if I run a business, I don't have to follow the First Amendment. I can do whatever I can say, like, nope, I'm going to silence everyone. You're not allowed to say what you want as long as you're working for my business. But it's the principle behind it. Like, it's the thing where it's not a principled stance. And this whole thing, like, I have yet to see a single person that I know say, yeah, this guy's a great judge and I want him to be confirmed. Instead, I've seen people say, yeah, he could be a better judge. He's not that great. Like, I would prefer someone so much better. But then the allegations came out and they're like, screw it, confirm him. Like, I want him confirmed because we're not going to start, like, saying you're going to get away with this. We're not going to start saying, yeah, you can toss out false rape allegations and that's going to go through. Because that's the thing. It's like, by passing this forward, you need to let people know that these kind of tactics are not fair. Now, I don't know if Ford is lying or not. I have no idea. And I'm particularly, like, inclined to say she probably is lying based on all the testimony and all the evidence I've gone through. Which is, again, the only evidence we actually have is testimony. So it's like, it really just is a he said, she said, and there's not much to go on. It's like, well, she says she's telling the truth. Well, there's some testimony that says she's a liar. So it's like, I don't know. And all I can say is, we can't jump to conclusions. We have to assume he's innocent. And now it's like, by putting him through, we're apparently, like, it's the same thing with Trump, honestly. It's like, if you want to have an honest look at this, then let's do it. If you want to discuss Kavanaugh as a judge, then great. But instead, people are like, he's a gang rapist. Like, that's of course, that's the wild assertions. And then for some reason, it de-escalated down to he once threw ice at someone, which is like, okay, I'm not endorsing any of this. Like, Kavanaugh in high school and college and that, his life was way different from mine. Like, he drank. I never drank in college. He went to parties. I never went to parties in college. My parties were like just small meetings and we were discussing philosophy. like that was not, like, overall it's like, yeah, I think that's a bit of a bad mark on him, the fact that he did that, but everyone did that. So it's like, if he did something 30 years ago, which include, like, something, meaning, like, if he drank in college 30 years ago, it's like, okay, let's move on. Like, he did, like, it doesn't affect my opinion of him too much. Now, if he was actually, like, assaulting people, then sure, like, that is something that just because it happened 30 years ago, you can't dismiss. But it happened 30 years ago, and there's no evidence. So it's like, if it did happen, as much as that sucks, we have to assume it didn't because there's no evidence. It's like, could it happen? Sure. But we have no evidence. And now you have people, like, again, this is the Women's March. And something you have to keep in mind is, like, it's called the Women's March. But I did a video on this a while back. Like, does the Women's March actually represent women? It's like, if you go through what the Women's March advocates for and what women in the United States view on this subject, what their opinion is, it's not correlated. like, because remember that if it's the Women's March, then you're thinking, like, well, the Women's March should probably support, like, 95% of women. Like, they should have the same opinion as, like, 95% of women. Or at least, like, again, at least 70, 80%, at least a majority. But what you find is, of course, women are not all the same. Women don't have the same opinion. Like, you'll find that, believe it or not, women can disagree on things. And then when you do the research, it's like, oh, turns out, yeah, they don't really represent women that well. In conclusion, it's like, even on the abortion question, they don't represent women that well. But now they're going out against Kavanaugh, and it's like, okay, why are you talking about this? Like, Kavanaugh is not a women's issue. You might be trying to make it a women's issue, but it is not a women's issue. And we know that because, like, believe it or not, on the issue of Kavanaugh, women are divided on that. And it's like, yeah, they're allowed to have different opinions. That's okay. And even like sexual assault survivors, I've seen tons of testimony that's like, yeah, I'm a sexual assault survivor. What Ford is doing is absolutely outrageous. I am all for Kavanaugh. And it's like, wow, this is not a women's issue. This is not like an issue of assault. It's all down to like, if you look at the evidence, you're like, yeah, it probably didn't happen. That doesn't make you a rape apologist, as they're accusing Suzanne Collins of being. And it's like, yeah, they'll drag you through the mud here. Because the thing is, if I were to criticize Suzanne, I don't know much about her, honestly. This is the first time I've heard her name, like 2 days ago. And if you say something bad about, like, Suzanne Collins, you're like, yeah, I don't like her policy on this thing. Now, of course, she's right-wing, so nobody will come to her defense. But if I were to say that about anyone on the left, like, it happened with Hillary all the time. It was like, oh, I say something bad about Hillary. Well, you must hate women. It's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. What? Like, where did you get that from? Like, no, it's because I disagree with her on this, and this is why. Like, she is wrong on this policy. It's like, oh, you hate women. It's like, no. And, of course, then this happens. It's like, oh, a woman disagrees with us, you're a rape apologist. And it's like, that's what's sickening. That's what's frustrating so many people. It's the identity politics. And it's like, no. If an organization says they claim to defend a minority, I am immediately incredibly skeptical of that organization if it's ideological. Because it's like, okay, if you want to fight for a population to get the right to vote, sure. Like, that is a great cause to support. Thing is, everyone has the right to vote now. Everyone, like, that deserves the right to vote has one. If anything, I think too many people, like certain young people, we might have even gone too far with the right to vote there. I don't know. I'm not saying that's my position. I'm just saying it's something to look into. It's something worth questioning. But now, it's like, oh, we support women. But if you disagree with us, we're going to call you a rape apologist. It's like, no. This is the stuff that makes people want to support Kavanaugh. This is what it's become now. It's no longer become an issue of let's look at him as a judge. It's become an issue of party politics of, dear God, these people are so absolutely awful and will drag anyone through the mud that disagrees with them and will call them a rape apologist for disagreeing, that it's like, okay, I'm now so opposed to you that I will support Kavanaugh just because of that. And it's like when Kavanaugh got confirmed, it was like, it was a gut feeling of like, yeah, like it was a gut feeling of, yeah, it was a gut feeling of this is a good thing. And it's like, I know that I disagree with him on so many things. I know that he's going to be on the Supreme Court for how long, and he's going to vote poorly on certain vote. I guess he's going to support so many issues that I oppose. But yet I still want it to happen. And it's like, am I sacrificing the future 30 years for just party politics now? I guess I am. I don't know. I'm just saying that my opinion seems to be rather popular among everyone that I talk to. And I mean, I have I have left-wing friends. I have social Democrat friends. I have right-wing friends. I don't have any actual alt-right friends. But I would say my political opinions political opinions of my friends range quite a bit. And it's like, yeah, it's all just, there was a rant there, and the whole point of this video was just to say, he got confirmed, this is why. This is why people are mad. It's like, I get it, being angry is not an argument. Being angry is not a reason to do something. It's like, you need to have an actual argument. And honestly, my argument for Kavanaugh, really, that I think is the strongest case for him, is really just, we need to let people know, this is not okay. If you want to start putting forth rape allegations with absolutely no evidence behind them, you're going to lose. I think that is a very strong case for Kavanaugh, is just to say, you cannot do this. We need to show that if you do this, there is a strong disincentive there because you will lose. And I guess that's it. There's not much to it other than that, but, I mean, look in the comment section, see what people say. I have no idea, because I always say, look in the comments after these videos, because I have no idea what people are going to say. I mean, I imagine I'll get a pretty mix of people saying I'm a rape apologist or saying that I'm a horrible person because I wanted Kavanaugh to get confirmed, and he did. And I'll have mixed people saying, yeah, I agree with you. And I'll have mixed people saying, no, I think he's a good judge. I don't know. I honestly, again, I've yet to see a single person that says, I want him in because he's entirely because he's a good charge. Oh my God. Because he's a good judge and not because of these charges. But, Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm curious to hear your point. Do you agree, disagree? I'm just saying, even if you disagree with me, there are a surprising number of people that share my view. So it's like, I am pretty sure you would have a lot more people against Kavanaugh if you didn't bring out these allegations. But yeah, thanks for watching.